Hello, my name's Steve and welcome to the Seaside Allotment channel, and today I thought I'd talk about the hungry gap. So it's really easy to be self-sufficient in summer and autumn. It gets a little bit more tricky in winter, but it's certainly possible. But because the light levels are so low, the volume of produce that you can produce is really quite limited. And in our case, we'll be feeding 22 people in summer, but we're only feeding maybe 6 people in winter. So the opportunity to sort of add value is pretty limited. But the hungry gap is a really exciting time, because if you prepare really carefully, you can have a massive abundance in April through to June, when a lot of gardeners are really struggling to get anything. And it's all about prep. Now obviously some of that prep you've really got to do in sort of September and October time, but there's plenty of opportunity to do stuff later on in the year as well. So I'm going to take you around my allotments, or our family of allotments, and show you the sort of things we're doing to be really well positioned in April and May. Now why are April and May so exciting? Well, because light levels are really high. In fact, March, April and May, we get a lot of sun here. May is actually our sunniest month, which is quite interesting. Rainfall is actually quite low. Winds can be pretty high. We get a few frosts, so you have to be careful with that. But anyway, generally speaking, it's a really exciting time. So let's get on and I'll show you what we're doing and what we can expect to be growing in April and May. So anybody who knows me knows that first up has got to be the salads. And we'll be moving on from these loose leaf salads to lovely crunchy hearting salads. And all those crunchy hearting salads are in the ground now. It's pretty windy outside, but I'll show you those soon. But we'll definitely have some lovely loose leaf ones as well. To add a bit of pep to the salads, we'll have some lovely sorrel. Crunchy salads like Chartwell. Really tasty salad rocket. Fantastic winter gem. And we'll probably even have a few little gems as well. Noble red, that'll be going crazy. Crunchy leaves like lob jolts. Masses of spring onions. And we'll actually leave some of these spring onions growing on, so we'll actually get some fairly decent bulbs as well. Gorgeous spinach, like this red kitten. And amazing cooking greens like chard. And let's have a look at some of the brassicas we'll be eating. So I have these lovely spring cabbages, and then the first of my earliest sprouts. We'll probably get those in late May, early June. Amazing baby sprout leaves like these. And I've got stacks of those growing at the moment, just little seedlings at the moment, just about this size, but grown in clumps. They'll make lovely little bushes of leaves in April time. I should have some gorgeous broccolini. I'll show you my plants in a minute, but they'll look like this. I'll have some early kales, some like this, which is red Russian. I'll have some early kale plants, and they'll look a bit like this. The late season kale over winter, that'll be finished by May, but the new season, it's going to be just gorgeous, lovely tender leaves like these. We'll have some lovely little Carvelo Nero plants. We'll have some of the earliest cauliflowers, and they'll look a bit like this in April, but I'll show you the ones that I've got over winter. So in April and May, these amazing purple sprouting broccoli will just be the absolute star of the show. And we've got about 10 of these plants. Fantastic they are. And these perpetual kale plants will be burst into life as well. I think I've got 6 of these plants, and these are in pots at the moment. I'll be transplanting them into the ground later on, but these are gorgeous. The leaves are about maybe 6 inches when the plants are mature. Fantastic. And the first of the tender celery stems as well. They'll be lovely, and of course the early rhubarb as well. Let's take a look at some of the stuff that's in the polytunnel at the moment that we're getting ready for an early harvest. So we've got baby carrots here. These are Napoli, and hopefully these should be ready in late April, early May. First succession of early peas, and we'll have pea shoots of course before this. I'm already preparing the first run of beans, and we'll have some French beans maybe in June, early June, in one of the little hoop tunnels outside. Some lovely little cauliflower plants here. These are all year round, and we've got some snowball over here, and then we've got all sorts of successions of broccolini and calabrese. These are the biggest of the calabrese. We'll have some lovely red cabbages, and we'll have some lovely broad beans. And these will be the first succession of the broad beans, and we've got 2 more successions coming on outside. And to complement the spinach and the chard, we've got some lovely spinach beet, and they'll be shooting to life in spring. By late May we'll probably be running out of beetroot in store, but we'll have our early beetroot, bolt hardy, which will be growing in cold frames. And of course we'll have had radishes from about March time. We've got our potatoes for Christmas here, and pretty much just as we're finishing these Christmas potatoes, we'll be planting our earliest potatoes in January, and those always started in the conservatory where it's nice and warm, and then they'll come into the polytunnel, and we'll be harvesting those early May probably. We're starting our earliest carrots again in the conservatory, and we'll start those in about January, and another batch in February, and then we'll just start them normally outside in March. We'll be pinching out the tops of these field beans, just a bit like that, just this top area here, and these are just like spinach, so gorgeous little tender leaves, because we're not growing these field beans for the pods, we're growing them for the greens, and then we leave the roots, which are full of nitrogen nodules, in the ground for the brassicas. But huge crop of gorgeous leaves. Of course, we've got the early courgettes, and they'll be in these corners here, replacing these peas in big pots and wrapped in bubble wrap. And yep, we'll definitely get a harvest from those in May. Of course, it's the turn of the strawberries. Who could forget the strawberries? First of those will be moved into the conservatory in January, February time, and then the next batch will come, and they'll be in the polytunnel, and again they'll be moved in probably around February time, and we'll get a crop of those in May, and then we'll be on to the earlies in the ground in June. And then last but not least, tomatoes, and again we're hoping for an early crop of those, trying a few things. We're taking cuttings off the tomatoes that we've currently got in the conservatory now, which hopefully we'll get a crop of those at Christmas, and those cuttings will take, and then hopefully we'll get an early crop from those. And we've got some early varieties that we're starting in January time, and they're just little ones like Red Robin that should grow nicely in the conservatory. And then of course the next batch will be in the polytunnel and then outside. So yeah, that's pretty much it. So I hope you enjoyed this. I mean, it's a bit early to be talking about the Hungry Gap perhaps, but actually it's all about prep, and there's lots you can do now to make sure you get just loads and loads of food in the Hungry Gap. I'll just pop a few photos of some of my early veggies after this, and I'll pop the dates on as well, the first harvest dates, and hoping to do a lot better than these first harvest dates. These were just my first experiments this year, so next year should do a better job. And of course we did have the beast from the east this year, which really messed up everything, but anyway, hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you soon.